But for everyone else in the community that's being left out, it wasn't so great. And what happened to Black Wall Street? So there's one day, 1921, there's this kid, not much older than any of the guys here, and he's in an elevator with a white elevator operator, and he steps on her toe, and she starts to fall a little, and before he knows it, he's in jail for assault. Like, what?
Jail.
Exactly.
For doing more than stepping, that was an accident.
Oh. So, exactly. Doesn't stop there though. The Oklahoma newspaper publishes a story about it, and pretty soon there's white folks with guns outside the jail cell talking about doing really awful things to this kid in the jail cell. And before it's all over, they burned Black Wall Street to the ground. To the ground. Like, crazy. National Guard, they didn't even come in until it's all over. You know? And that's the problem of uplift ideology. That if we're just focused on getting for ourselves and not getting justice for our whole community, it'll get taken away again, and this pyramid won't change. Right? This has happened several times. I mean, Detroit, same thing. There's a really good book. If you ever have time, this book makes me cry, makes me laugh. Like, I've reread it a bunch of times. I spilled fruit on it. Ella Baker, like, she, incredible human being. No one hardly knows her name, except for Dr. Dunbar, you know. And Reuben and folks who really care. But she was licking the stamps, sending the envelopes in the NAACP with W.E.B. Du Bois back in the day. And then with Martin Luther King, she was the one building the movement and visiting people all around the South, in Birmingham, and some of the scariest places. And she doesn't get her due. But the idea of uplift ideology is really important as you all become like leaders, you know. You all become the leaders that you can be, because we gotta remember that we gotta get justice for everyone. It's not just enough for us to get our own, because that's what society wants us to do. Society wants to, the economic pyramid wants to create a statue for MLK, but it doesn't want to talk about Ella Baker. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason there. That when they do that, when they just celebrate one person and tell us that movement's dead, what's that do to everyone who's left out? What's it do to all those voices that are left out? Yeah, or their forgotten history. This is a little book with the university press. You can't find it in bookstores. You have special orders.
Well, I'm going back to just ideas and power again, because just take Martin Luther King. You know, the media will focus on one person, and we all know that whatever has to be done through the efforts of a lot of people. But see, you hear about Martin Luther King, for example, you hear about one speech, you know, I have a dream, and I'm not taking away from that, but you don't hear about the things, say, Martin Luther King was discussing concerning, well, the war in Vietnam and poverty, and you're talking about links between things. And I say that because I think it's important to remind you, but through reading and through sifting through or moving past these little roadblocks that people put up for us and who say, oh, it's just like this, or like Mercedes was saying, you know, teachers will say to you, oh, well, those kids just say everything's racist. Well, it's to quote a line from one of my favorite films, you know, it insults your intelligence. And the importance of doing what you do every day, you know, thinking broadly and looking at the big picture is it's not just, you know, you hear teachers say this all over and over again, but it's a skill for life, and it is necessary. It is just necessary.
And don't get me wrong, I love me some MLK. Like, when I listened to his speech on Vietnam, he wrote that a year to the day. He in New York City, he delivered that 1967, a year to the day before he was killed. And some people say that bullet that had chased him for a long time found him because of those connections that he was making with his poor people's movement at the end of his life. It wasn't necessarily popular, and the media would say some nasty, nasty stuff about him because of it. But when he started making those deep connections, like Mercedes would say, across color lines, and saying, hey, it's all of us, and all of our communities that are being left out. And systemic racism is one of the best tools that they got to do that. And those plantation politics to keep us from making those connections are one of the best tools they got. Once he started making those connections, people started getting worried. The FBI started following him. And that's why Ella Baker said that we can't have just charismatic leaders. That we need a broad movement where we're all leaders. You know, that can't just be big events. That we need to be talking to other people and saying, hey, what did you think about last Thursday? Do you want to help? What do you think your best role would be in helping us? You guys rock.
That also reminds me because everyone is always thinking, or everyone